Hi guys, so in today's video I want to talk to you about how to actually build self-discipline, my tips on how to become more of a disciplined person, to have yourself under control more, and also today I want to debunk some of the myths that go around in the self community a lot of the times where people just give you tips that won't really necessarily help you in achieving your goals. So, self-discipline. Self-discipline and motivation are two completely different concepts. This is what you have to realize first of all. Motivation is temporary. This is when you put on your headphones and you listen to a really good song and you're like, oh yeah, I'm motivated to do this. Let's go on a run. Discipline is when you wake up in the morning and you are dreading it. You really don't want to do it, but you force yourself to do it anyway. This is the difference. So discipline is more of a long distance game. Motivation is sprints. And in your journey of discipline, you will also experience motivational bursts throughout that. This is great. This is like a temporary push that you get. But you can't rely on motivation to carry you through the whole race. Most of the kilometers that you're gonna have to get behind you are going to be kilometers where you have to rely on discipline. So, how do we build discipline? You can think of your brain as a child. So there are some very, very simple mechanisms ruling our whole behavior. So, for example, we tend to do what is obvious, what is simple, and what reduces the amount of decisions that we need to make before we do the thing. So let's say you want to make it a habit to go on a run after waking up. If you lay out your workout clothes in front of your bed, make them visible, put your shoes there, reduce the amount of friction, and this is an important keyword, friction here, reduce the amount of friction it takes to start that behavior, it is more likely to occur. And that way it's very deterministic. If you look for A, B, and C, so if you prepare everything in advance, if you make it very easy and reduce the friction, the likelihood that you're going to perform the behavior is increased. This is a direct connection. You can also flip this on its head. The more unattractive you make things that you don't want to do, because to every good habit, to every disciplined way of acting in the world, there's an antidote where you're not disciplined, where you're lazy. Let's say instead of going on the run, you stumble into the kitchen and get yourself a box of cornflakes and go back into bed watching Netflix. That you have to make as unattractive as possible. Again, relying on the fact that your brain is very, very simple to program if you think about it. So don't keep the cornflakes at home. Don't have Netflix installed on your laptop or on your phone. And make your bed, for example, first thing in the morning, because just making the bed makes it more difficult to crawl back into it immediately, right? So this is the first rule. Make the thing you want to do obvious and the thing you don't want to do very invisible, very hard to do. Reduce the amount of decisions that you have to make in order to do the disciplined thing, in order to go the disciplined route. Next thing is this. Find something enjoyable about the disciplined habits that you want to do. There's no use in forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do. Because I tell you, there's plenty of things that are good for you and good for your long-term goals that are also fun to you. Let's say you want to become more fit, but you absolutely hate running. And even if you put on your headphones and do it, you don't like it. So this is also something that goes around in the self-help community a lot. It's like, force yourself to do the thing. Suffer. Do the thing that you hate doing the most. I don't believe in that long term, because this really, it requires a great, great amount of discipline when there's also an easier route that is more sustainable. So, because every act of discipline takes energy away from your brain, and we don't want to fill our day with unnecessarily difficult tasks. So find something that serves the same goal but is more fun to you and easier to do. Let's say you really like, or you notice that you really like hopping on the bike. in the gym. This is some cardio that you just enjoy doing more. Then do that instead. Because it serves the same goal. You want to be fit, and it doesn't really matter if you go running or if you go biking. Okay, running might be more efficient in whatever, building your cardiovascular health and burns more calories. But if you enjoy the biking more, do that, because this will be much more easy to implement long term. So there has to be a balance. Sometimes you have to force yourself to do things that you don't do, because there are also going to be days where you're going to wake up and you don't want to hop on the bike either. But when starting to pick out the habits that you want to perform, the crafts that you want to master, you have to have some sort of focus, and don't go about this blindly and just copy what somebody else is doing. There's some things that are more fun to you and some things that are less fun to you. The things that are more fun to you initially are going to be easier to stick with, even if you're not motivated at all. Then when you are tempted, we are all tempted. There are different levels of discipline, right? So some people, and this is also to do a lot with how you were brought up, but there's some people who find it easier to get into action and some people who find it harder to get into action, and that is okay. But what really universally works for all people, and this has been shown in science extensively, is when you switch thinking about how you're going to do it in that moment to why you're doing it. We are very, very meaning-oriented creatures. When we don't see the meaning in what we're doing right now, the motivation to do the thing that we're doing becomes zero practically. And what happens a lot of the times when you are trying to do a difficult thing that you don't want to do is you forget your why. So let's say you want to lose weight because you want to look good for your wedding day, or you want to lose weight because you want to be more active with your children, or you want to write better grades because you really want to get into that university. When push comes to shove and it's just a difficult day, maybe you haven't slept enough, maybe you just don't feel well, you are going to forget about the why and you're going to think about the how instead. Oh my God, it's going to be so difficult. I need to get myself out of bed. I need to go on that shitty run. I don't want to do it. My feet are going to hurt. My lungs are going to ache. And it's just, the weather is so bad. Blah, blah, blah. Think about your why. Think about your children. Think about the wedding day. This is what you have to do in that moment. Really switch your focus. And this is what's going to increase your motivation again. Because at the end of the day, you need to have a connection to your future self and to the larger picture. Because you become very zoomed in when you don't want to do a thing. But really, when you are able to zoom out in that situation, this is what's going to get you towards the finish line, towards the goal. So yeah, overall, increasing your quality of sleep has been shown to increase your discipline, because if we don't sleep enough, our mind is cluttered. There's more default mode activity, and we're less likely to make the right decisions for ourselves. So improve that. And regular exercise, which is also voluntary discomfort, if you think about it, helps increase discipline. So yeah, these are my tips on how to improve your self-discipline. I hope that you could take something from this video, and I see you guys in the next video. Stay disciplined.